Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be looking at the new Dina Wakley May Release for 2022, looking at some new colours. So I'm starting off in the large craft journal. I had already had some gesso on the page, and now I'm going in with some of the new gloss spray. So I'm starting out with Lapis, which is amazing. The Evergreen, there was a little bit of Ancient, which is one of the metallics. And then because I sprayed so much out, I decided I would mop some up with some tissue paper. So the tissue paper I've got sitting at the side there will dry, and that's something I can print over or tear up and use in collage later on, so it doesn't go to waste. Once I've done that, I decided I want to put some more metallics on. Now the metallic gloss sprays, so there's the Ancient, which is a gold, and the Sterling, which I'm just using now, which is the silver, and they're absolutely beautiful. One of the things I'm blown away with is how sparkly they are. A lot of times with metallics, they can be a little bit hit and miss, or they're so full of mica and glitter products that you actually have stuff going everywhere, which drives me nuts. So the fact that this is really, really sparkly, but because it's in a gloss acrylic spray, it doesn't shift, it's permanent when it's down, is just amazing for me. So it's absolutely beautiful in the fact that, you know, when you shift it, you can just see all this shimmer coming up, and the light's reflecting on this beautifully, so you can really sort of see that happening there. All I've been doing is just adding some extra colour, intensifying it. I added a little bit more lapis, I added a few more splats. I did add a little bit of water to water it down a little bit. I've been really loving the gloss sprays with some water on it. It gives you some really cool effects. So playing with that, but I was a bit impatient as well and ended up with a big puddle. So I did blot some of it off. Now you'll notice I did put gesso underneath this. Now that's personally for me, I really like having the brightness of the colour. The craft journalist itself is fantastic and does take the colour really, really well, but you can see the difference of where I have the gesso and where I haven't had gesso, and how it absorbs into the paper. So just be aware that your colours will react differently. However, I have noticed the metallics stand up beautifully to the craft paper, so you get a really lovely sheen on it, no matter if it's on gessoed paper or just on the raw craft. Now I'm just going in with an image. I'm obsessed at the moment with the face stamps and extending them, making them into full figures, and this is another reason why I really love this larger journal, because in the small craft journal, you know, you only got little bits, or you could only do part faces. The face on the right hand side, for example, fills up the entire 6x6 journal. So the fact that you can put hair on and create bodies on them, I really love. So I'm just going in, and I have used my black Posca paint pen to extend the body, to draw over the lines a little bit so they stand out, and to create some extra depth with a little bit of line work, which I really, really like. I've also used some of the blushing gloss spray to add a little bit of colour to the cheeks, and with the eyes I've used some white paint pens to add in the corneas of the eye and also the catch-alls. I also wanted to add a little bit of shading to the body, so not only have I added in the line work, but I've used the stamp that actually comes with this set to it's just some random writing that I've used to sort of make the shoulders. I put some shading in that too, so you've got all this sort of happening in the background. Now I had my figure there, I wanted to add some words to it, and obviously the stars are the major focus on this page, so I wanted to have a quote that had something to do with stars on it. So that's what I chose to do, but before I did that, I wanted to pull the figure out from the background a little bit. So I finally unstuck the lid of my night craft gloss spray, and I'm just using that to create a really simple shadow and a little bit of depth to the page. Now usually I would use my Stabilo All pencil to do this, but I really wanted to keep the blues on this and not have too much black on the page. And the great thing about the gloss sprays is because they are more translucent than the paints, you get this beautiful layered effect. So you could still see what's going on underneath, but you get that depth of colour to pop it out from the background. Now I'm going in with my white paint pen and just drawing some random lines, which I'm going to use to write on. I was really tossing up whether to use black or white, but I ended up using white, which I think I'm happy with in the final result. And I found this quote on Pinterest about stars that I wanted to write in. So it's a slightly longer quote than usual, but it's all about how stars are born out of explosions and chaos, and you know, when our life's chaotic, that, you know, big changes on the way and a new star is being born. So I quite like that, and it really appealed to me with my little star lady in the background. So sometimes I want to just write a short, sharp quote. Sometimes I want to write lots. It just depends on how I'm feeling on the day. The other thing I wanted to say, which I didn't get to when I was doing the stamping here, I stamped directly into my journal. Now, one of the things that this craft journal is amazing for is it takes stamping beautifully. So don't be afraid to stamp directly into it. Possibly using a block more than I do would be helpful, but it does all work in the end. So I don't want to put a title on my page, so I had the word stars at the top. You will notice I am going over it a few times because, again, the craft paper is unsealed. It wants to soak up all the acrylic paint. So my first layer of paint that I put down soaked into the page, but then by putting a few extra layers over the top, it sort of blended in and layered it up, so I got a little bit more depth. I did decide I wanted to put some drips down my page, but it just didn't work for me, so I just ended up sort of darkening one of the corners and then spritzing over with more of the sterling to get more stars, which, you know, is never a bad thing because I'm really loving that metallic. So that is basically the finished page. I'm just drying it off. It was really, really quick to put together. I think the whole page took me about half an hour to do. And you can see sort of in the close-up the layers of those gloss sprays, how the text works with the page. On this stamp, the left-hand eye isn't actually formed. It's got that text there, but I did want to have two eyes, so I drew that in myself and put a little bit of blue in the eye just to patch it up too. So that's how it sort of all came together with the colours and the shading. Really, really fun. The new colours are fabulous, and I just cannot recommend the metallics highly enough. I'm really, really excited about them. So you're probably going to be seeing a lot of the sterling and a lot of the ancient being used on my pages in the next few weeks or months, because I'm slightly addicted. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.